absolute time. But the Creator God is transcendent above all the physical universe in his high and lofty place, and views, experiences, or inhabits all entities from an eternal perspective. Isaiah 57:15. Notice his simultaneous control and embracement of all the heavens and the earth. Isaiah chapter 40. Watch this. This is an astounding portion of Scripture to me. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 12. Who hath measured the waters, hydrology, meteorology, oceanography, in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven, that's astronomy, with a span, and comprehended the dust, that's physics and chemistry, of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and hills, that's geophysics, in a balance? Who's done that? God. And he did all of it. All of it. Even though it's thousands of miles apart in volume, all of it is embraced, created, and embraced by him. Verse 21. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Have it not been told you from the beginning? That's time. Have you not understood from the foundations? That's mass and energy of the earth. It is he that sitteth upon the circle. That's sphericity. The earth is not flat, by the way. He that sitteth upon the circle, the sphericity of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof, that's anthropology, are as grasshoppers, insect kind, that's biology. That's encompassing all of the sciences, isn't it? Yes. It stretcheth out the heavens, that space, as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. This is awesome. 26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power. Not one faileth. First law of thermodynamics has to do with matter has been created. It can't be added to. It can't be destroyed. Second law of thermodynamics says it's running down. And more about that in a moment. He upholdeth all things by the word of his power. That means the God we serve is absolutely awesome. We can trust him. We can trust our loved ones in his hand. Verse 48:13. Mine hand also hath laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand hath spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together. It all holds together as a unified effort. And that's the anthropic principle. The anthropic principle is that this entity, the mass of the proton, this entity, the gravitational component, have to be precisely correct, or the electron whirling around the proton will either fly off into space or it will crash in a universal explosion. Either way, if it is not just right, in 12 minutes, the universe dies. Now that's in the published technical literature. Somebody's in charge, and I know who it is. That's so exciting to me. Oh, by the way, it isn't just the mass of the proton and the energy and velocity of the electron and the gravitational constant. It isn't just that. They have found so far over 800 of these measurable units that are all interrelated. So I'm sure someone watching on YouTube is saying, no, wait a minute. All of that is faith-based. You're quoting Scripture as if God really existed, and you are asserting that God is in control of all of that. Don't you think that's being a little unscientific and undisciplined and unprovable? Oh, no. You just need to get in on all of the lectures. Amen. One of the lectures has to do with the fact that a person walked our shores, preached to a hungry multitude. How many thousand? 5,000. And later another 4,000. And the apostles tapped him on the shoulder and said, Master, they're hungry. And he said, I know it. Go buy them some bread. They said, Master, while you were preaching, we calculated what it would take to feed these 5,000 people. And he said, 200 pennyworth is not enough just to give each of them a little morsel. That's a big train load. A train load, a big boxcar load is not enough to feed all these people. He said, sit them down in companies of 50. He said, do you have anything to eat here? They had already canvassed the whole crowd. Those were good disciples. They knew systems. They knew how to analyze the components. Did you know, I'm going to ask these scholars up there, these NASA guys, and you engineers, did you know that the Apostle Peter was the first man of record in history to suggest that the elements can melt with fervent heat? Nuclear physics. He was, at least by what he was reporting nuclear physics. The elements can. You're a nuclear physicist. A little bit. You run nuclear power plants. Can the elements melt with fervent heat and you generate electricity from the radioactive elements out here? It works, right? That's right. The first mention of that in history by an individual speaking in writing was the Apostle Peter. So these guys were pretty sharp. So back to the main idea. So here was Jesus. He said, you have anything to eat? They said, we've already canvassed. We know what's going on. We know how to run this operation. They said, there's one kid here. He brought his lunch. And all he's got. This shows those apostles were dutifully following their responsibility. They told him how much did the kid bring? 2 fishes. Now wait a minute, you just said something scientific. You didn't say 2 fish. You said, are you the one who said 2 fishes? Who said 2 fishes? Here, that means 2 different species. That's scientific. Now we'd say, oh, he's got 2 fish. No. One's a bass, one's a perch. 5 loaves, 2 fishes. What Jesus did, he had them sit down. He prayed first. He broke the loaves. Here was 1 loaf. Just a little patty cake. It was 2. It was 4. Took the fish. He broke. Wait a minute. Do you know what he was doing? He added to the mass of the universe. That's not all. Those fish were not dry, cracker, dehydrated fish. They ate them and enjoyed them. There was moisture in them. He did what he did on day number 1 when he created the earth as a sphere of water. And if I had time, and that'll be a lecture later this year, every single thing that he did on each day, the 6 days of creation, on each day, he repeated during his lifetime here. I'm trying to tell you, that's scientific. You can measure it. Jesus, God really did visit planet Earth. We know who he is, and he's alive.